generally feels like this is gonna be my makeup video. This is gonna be the apology video, dude, where I've got no makeup on, puffy eyes, and I'm like crying.
Sigh.
Yeah.
It's just titled, I'm sorry.
Yeah. Yeah, dude. Goodbye forever, Ari. God damn it. Alright, so, hey, we just did Resident Evil 3 recently. Uploaded the final video today. And, I think we platinumed the game like a couple of days ago, didn't we? So we platinumed Resident Evil 3, so I figured now would be a good time to actually give my thoughts on it. Because a lot of people have been asking me about it, as, I think the series is kind of being, the entry, Resident Evil 3 Remake, is being met with, like, kind of divisive opinions, you know what I'm saying? Some people either go, it's a masterpiece, you know, it's even better than 2, and some people are going like, what the fuck is this? And unfortunately, I'm not happy about this. No. I'm on the side that goes, what the fuck is this? Alright, so...
Been genuinely fucked up for days.
Alright, okay, easy. I'm just like, waking up.
Sad boy.
Like I'm like that Wolverine meme where he's just lying down on the bed and just stroking the RE3 OG cover and shit. Or the PS1 title. But yeah, it has kind of been like that, because it's kind of fucked with me, man. Yeah. It's fucked with me. Because, so for those of us who have been watching my shit for the longest time, you know how big Resident Evil is as a part of our channel, right? Yeah. We fucking play it all the time. Like, we were doing the weekly challenges for Resi 2 for a year straight. We were in like the final 50 or something. And generally we've been doing like speed runs after speed runs, fucking challenge runs, knife runs, randomizer runs, you name it, we've fucking done it with Resident Evil. Platinumed all of them, right? Old and new. So basically we love Resident Evil. Yeah. It's been a big part of my life ever since I was a kid, bro. Probably my first horror game, and I've got fond memories of, you know, that first time you see the zombie turn after he fucking takes a big bite out of Kenneth and shit and comes after you in the original and stuff like that, man. Love it. I've even got a big ass building that we walk by.
Yeah, every day. He calls it the Arcade
Mansion. The Arcade Mansion, because that was the big ass like apartment complex where I saw Resident Evil for the first time in my uncle's apartment. And it used to freak me out, so every time I walk past there, I think about those times. So Resident Evil is in my blood. It's in my blood! And Resident Evil 3, the OG, that was like the first game I tried to like buy with my own money by myself, and I got into an argument with the hippie that was running the store at the time. Because I was too young, oh fuck you then! And I had to get my mom to go buy it for me and shit. And I was terrified of the game, and it took me ages to beat it because I was so petrified of Nemi. So yeah, Resident Evil was a big deal. And when did it get announced that it was coming out? It got announced probably like about, probably about 6 months after 2 came out. Yeah. 6 months after 2 came out, there was talk about RE3, and then it got announced. There was a trailer for it and everything. There was leaked images of the new Nemi and the new Jill and Cars and shit, and I was like, yo, it all looked good. There was even divisive, I don't know if you saw them, but when the leaks of the images, there was a nose. Everyone was tripping on the nose. Everyone was tripping on the nose. Yeah. I just thought I was like, who gives a shit? It looks cool. I'm down with it, dude. It's just more of like it's just more body horror.
It's a way for him to deteriorate.
Yeah, because it kind of reminds you that that used to be a person. Yeah. You know what I mean? It's all fun. I like it. Anyway, so all I saw was that initial announcement trailer and those images, and then I kept myself blind, dude. I kept myself blind for the entire fucking process leading up to launch, because I didn't want to know anything, because I'm already like intimately familiar with RE3, and so like why would I want to spoil what new things are probably going to be introduced into the game? And yeah, I didn't play the demo that got announced, like that got released probably a couple weeks before the game came out. Something like that. And there was a Jill Valentine trailer. I still haven't seen that. That got released not long before the game came out, which I think showcases the dog Nemi.
Yeah, probably.
I don't know what it is about Capcom, man, but they do love to
Like, put all
just
their
show
heads
you,
out.
like, just go,
Yeah.
here's everything, please buy the game.
Yeah.
It's all got so much stuff. Like, it's okay, Capcom, relax. It's fucking Resident Evil.
Still gonna
It's
be
gonna
fun.
sell.
Yeah.
All right. But yeah. So basically, before I even got into the game, but I bought it the night before, and like I was like counting down the fucking minutes. It was like till we could play it and shit. And I was like, oh, it's gonna be hype, bro. I was hype city, so I went into this with like wanting to love it. I was already in love with it because I played 2. I really enjoyed 2, and for the most part, I think 2 Remake is
It's really good.
it's really fucking good, and
really good.
it is one DLC, one game mode short of being a masterpiece to me. If they gave the separate ways for Ada, where you get to play the campaign through Ada's perspective, like you
really
could
cool.
do in Resi 4, that would have been perfect for me. That would have been the perfect fucking remake. Because then that would have expanded on the world and give us a little bit more behind the scenes and
Made you care about
just
Ada a little bit
yeah,
more.
just I don't know, just gave you more as a recurring fan. Just like, I wonder how Ada got into the city. I wonder what Ada was doing before she met Leon, and how she got out of the city amidst the explosion and
Her
shit.
finding that
Yeah,
rocket launcher at the
how
end
yeah,
and
how did
stuff,
she
yeah.
do all of that?
Yeah.
That would have been so cool to experience. But this isn't about Resi 2. It's about Resi 3. But basically, because of Resi 2 remake, I was like, yo, Resi 3 remake. If it's anything like 2, boy, it's gonna fucking rock the cock, right? So I went into 3 fucking beyond hyped, no negativity whatsoever. And at this point, the reviews were already coming in, where like GameSpot was giving it a 6 out of 10 and saying that it starts off really well, but it dies off, and this isn't. And PC Gamer said something like, "This isn't the Resident Evil we deserve," and shit. It's a step backwards for a series. And a part of me was like, fuck them kids, you know what I mean? They don't know what the fuck they talking about, bruh.
You're talking mad shit about them in general.
Well, yeah, because there was a big complaint was the
length.
The length.
The length
And
of the
my
game.
argument to actually defend Resi 3 before I played it was that Resi 3 is the shortest game in the series anyway. I think like the speedrun world record is like
Less than an hour.
40. I want to say like 40 minutes and change, or 44 minutes and change.
Yeah.
Something like that, dude. That's fucking speedy.
Yeah.
So I was like, well, why would you expect 3 to be massively long?
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So, yeah. But then we got into the game, we started playing it. We recorded the blind playthrough and everything. And I was hyped, man. Like the intro, I loved the intro. Just waking up in Jill's apartment, like getting a sense for like how she would have lived and stuff like that. And I thought that was really cool. And just that how they fucking changed, just shook up the script with Nemi just instantly bursting through her apartment and like throwing the bitch through the fucking corridor and stuff like, oh, what the fuck is going on? Like you're instantly in it, and it's high octane instantly. Like, little do you know, as you're going through it, it's all really just on-rails cutscenes.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
The
Like,
first time you play through.
when you do subsequent playthroughs, you're like, oh, this is all... You can literally just pause, skip all of this.
Everything,
Just
yeah.
pause, skip. Like, walk 5 steps, and then cutscene again. Pause, skip. You know what I mean? So... But, as an initial playthrough, I think a lot of the intro was me... just wanted, like, oh, it's only gonna get better from here. This is just a start. Just wait until we fucking get to the hospital, wait till we get to the fucking sewers, the fucking clock tower, cemetery section, where they're all clawing out the graves and shit like that. It's gonna be high. None of that happens. But we'll get there. But yeah, it was a lot of it for me just like going, like, oh man, I'm letting my bias for Resident Evil just hype me through this. But it does visually look cool
It's a beautiful
as
game.
a first time run through.
Yeah.
So and I think I remember saying like at the end of part 1 of the playthrough, dude, if the game is like this throughout, it's gonna be amazing, right?
Yeah.
And it really would have been, but it's not.
Yeah. The energy
So-
does die.
So not long after the intro, it's just really you walking down streets and just shooting zombies in the face. It's
Like-
pretty much it. And I know like a lot of people are gonna be like, well yeah, that's what like the original was. But at the same time, there was something about the original, I don't know whether it's like the camera angles, whether it was the soundtrack, whether it was just the art style back then, but there was just so much more tension in the air as you're walking through the streets of Raccoon City. Like, there was, like, survivors that were, like, screaming and shit, and as you run around the corner, they're being ripped apart by zombies and stuff. There was a lot more going on. It was a lot more kind of, like, visceral.
It's chaos.
Yeah, even though the intro does borrow a lot from, like, The Last of Us 1's intro, you know, when Joel's running with Sarah.
Yeah.
It's very much like that. It didn't feel half as chaotic.
No.
And
it's not interacting with you. None of the chaos actually interacts with you. It's just kind of there in the side.
Yeah, it's kind of like just set pieces just going on around you, and all you know really is all you've got to do is walk in a straight line for the cutscene to happen. Yeah. That's it. That's really all you got to do. Yeah. Whereas with the OG, much like just old school gaming in general back then, you were pushing. It was just you. Now you're in the game. You're playing the game right now. There is not going to be no safe cutscene or anything like that. You are literally playing the game now. Yeah. What you do, it's all up to you. Yeah. You know what I mean? Rather than, oh, you must now go here to trigger. Go down this corridor. Go down this corridor. Yeah. But yeah, you could clearly tell that the dev team had seen The Last of Us and they had seen Metal Gear Solid 5, and they were like, "Yo, we need to do that in our cutscenes as well." A lot of like. Nemi's initial appearances in the cutscenes, especially the one where Jill's like revving her car, like trying to get that car to start, and Nemi's appearing. There's like that bassy boom. Yeah. That's totally the Man on Fire in Metal Gear Solid 5. Like basically a carbon copy, dude. And like when the explosion, there's like car explosion. She's on her back and like kind of like trying to like shimmy backwards, and Nemi's just this fucking thing that literally happens like frame by frame in Metal Gear Solid 5. Yeah. So I was like, okay, cool. But yeah. Not long after you do all that hype shit though, the tension suddenly dies and you're just in the streets of Raccoon City and just like, but with no exploration. Yeah. A big part of like Resi 3's hype going into the remake was that, dude, we're gonna be able to like explore so much of Raccoon City now. Everyone always wanted to explore more of RC. And in a way, you kinda do. Like, you can walk into some shops and pick up a green herb and leave.
It's still like max like 5 streets that you go through.
Yeah, dude. Max. I do genuinely think you spend more time in the streets in the OG if you were exploring than you do in the remake. At least I do. Maybe it's my nostalgia goggles on, and my rose-tinted goggles and everything, but I vividly remember like camera angles and events, and just like vividly remember the streets of Raccoon City in 3 compared to remake. It's all a blur. It's all just one seamless walk down the straight line.
Get this, go back here. Yeah,
get walk down the street, get the cutscene. Walk down the street, get the key item. Go back down the street. Yeah, that's literally it. And fuck. And one thing that became apparent after, like when you start fighting the zombies, is that the game feels like a beta of 2. It feels like they're taking a beta build of 2 and using that for 3. Like, the zombies, their AI is beyond dumb. I know they're zombies, right? But even 2, like, they would, like, push through doors and come after you and shit like that. And they would still come after you despite being, like, body dismembered. There's, like, no dismemberment in the game.
Not at all.
One of the things I championed about Resi 2 was how impressed I was with how...
With the gore.
How the zombies react to being, like, exposed to, like, trauma, being shot in the head or in the leg or in the arm and shit, and just seeing them, like, seeing their body parts just, like, slough off of them and they're still coming at you. Even to the point where they got no arms, no legs, they're just a body, half body, with a head. And they still try and jump and bite you. That's awesome, dude. In 3, that doesn't happen.
The actual aiming itself...
They all kind of die the same way. They fall backwards into, like, a somewhat T-pose, and then, like... And then this despawn. I'm like, what is this arcadey shit, bro? What is that? That's fucking crap. I don't know, you do get a sense of so much corners cut, and so many, like, steps backwards and rough edges make themselves apparent very early on in the game. Like, to speak on the AI again, and with zombies pushing through doors, I didn't see that happen until, like, the RPD section. Yeah. In RE2.
But that's when they're reusing assets.
Exactly. So... but in RE2, they they'd be pretty fucking sneaky. In 3, you can literally, like, it's very clear that each room is a zone, right? And the door is like the
loading.
Yeah, somewhat. You open the door and the zombie can be there, but it hasn't processed you in its zone, so it doesn't react to you. So you can push open the door and just bang, 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 just unload it in its head, and he'll just take it, and it just drops to the floor. There's no tension there.
No.
There's no, like, you gotta, like, Resident Evil, like, Capcom has been really hard pushing the marketing. It's like, you've just got to survive and get out. It's very easy to. The only thing that kind of makes it hard to survive is how many insta-kills there are in the game. There are so many fucking insta-kills where it's just like, at some point, amidst a scripted chase from Nemi who's shooting you with a rocket launcher, you gotta run away from a rolling big comic head.
Yeah.
That's just rolling down the road. And then Nemi jumps down again, screams stars, and starts firing a rocket launcher at you. After that happens, dude, all tension's gone.
Yeah.
I am not taking the game seriously after I had to run away from Big Charlie Head. What the fuck was that? I don't know what that was.
Weak attempt at humor.
I don't know what it was. It was weird though. And I don't know whether it was just me being bullshit, but there were times very consistently where like I could rely on the dodging and the parrying, and then there were times where it's like, I don't know, you just roll the dice and hope that you know,
particularly
the perfect dodge will work. Yeah, dude. I've uploaded some videos of like the parrying. Yeah. There's that one section where you got to get the tape recorder's cast, and there's that room with 2 hunters in, right? Dude, you can parry, like, you can, like, when you get a perfect parry, you're supposed to be rewarded with having that calmness and precise, like, button input, right? Yeah. Yeah, like, oh, here's your reward for that skillful intercept of that attack, right? And it should be like, oh, you get some good free hits on it. Well, you technically do, but when he punches the hunter, it just he just shows his dick. Yeah. You just aim at his dick, and like, cause his face is out of shot, and that's his weak point, right? So now you're just shooting like a really high armored section of the monster, so you're just burning ammo.
Sometimes he doesn't even fall down.
Exactly. Sometimes you get a perfect parry, and it just goes, poof, and then he can go straight into an instant kill animation. What the fuck? Yeah. There was time, like, I uploaded a video to Twitter where I was like, bang, 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 and he just can't come. It's like, dude. Fucking go down. Very broken. So yeah, couldn't really rely on those mechanics too much. Yeah, I know you do get like that dodging manual and shit, but like even to that, like there were times where it's like I would like perfect dodge Nemi's like hook, and then I'd be instantly, like, and say as I recover from the dodge animation, grabbed by a zombie. Like I would dodge into an attack. Yeah. So it's like, well, fuck. So yeah, you do have like a lot of frustrating like moments like that in the game, where it just kind of feels like, okay, I guess, yeah, you bite me as well, I guess. You know what I mean? Which kind of sucks. But yeah, I don't know, dude. I've got a whole list of problems here, unfortunately, that I've got to run through. One of them being that, and this has been a big common complaint with people, is that the misuse of Nemi. Yeah, Nemi is scary. Like Mr. X was more prevalent in Resident Evil 2 than Nemi was in Resident Evil 3, which blows my fucking mind. Yeah. Because in the OG of Resi 3, Nemi was more present than Mr. X was in Resident Evil 2 OG. Yeah. What the fuck?
It's like they took the mechanic that they had for Mr. X, and they should have put it on Nemi, but they didn't feel like doing any of that. They still had all what they needed to make something that could walk through the streets on its own, like, on its own paths, but they
couldn't. Everyone, like, Resident Evil 2 blew up with how scary Mr. X's footsteps were. Yeah. You know when you're in the safe room, you just hear, you're like...
Particularly like in the chief's office, when he's like right upstairs.
Yes, that's exactly what I had in my head. That's exactly what I had in my head. Because you're very aware that like it's like the OG style of gaming. You're in the game now. Yeah. You're in the game. The game's being played no matter what you're doing. Things are happening, right? And you can just see it like, wait, is he right above me. It sounds like he's going farther away. Like, it just feels like you're in it.
Yeah.
So fucking immersive that even like echoey, muffled footsteps are like, yo, fuck leaving this room, dude.
Yeah.
At no point was I afraid to leave a safe room in RE3.
No.
At no point, because Nemi wasn't there.
No.
He wasn't there. All that would happen is it's just zombie, zombie, zombie. A couple dogs at the beginning. I cannot, like, that's not even like
2 dogs.
That's not even an over exaggeration. Literally 2 dogs and then 2 dogs at the end at the warehouse.
Yeah.
That's literally all the dogs in the game.
Yeah, I just now noticing that.
Literally 4 dogs in the game, dude.
Damn.
For real, right? So all you really got to worry about, zombies.
Yeah.
And that, so, okay, cool. Bang, run.
Yeah.
Right? But, and then you get, again, run down the linear fucking road, Nemi cutscene, and all you've got to do? Simply just keep running down the fucking linear pathway, dude, until, like, Jill goes to the cutscene where she closes a shutter, or some shit like that, and then you're safe again. Nemi is not persistent. He's not constantly in the map.
Pressing down the shutter and
No.
to get to you.
No, exactly. You never really feel like you're being hunted.
No.
With Mr. X, you actually felt like he was pursuing you. He was constantly in the RPD, just going away. Like, you have no idea where he was going to appear. But with Nemi, though, he actually becomes an afterthought.
Yeah.
You actually forget about Nemi, which is mind-boggling. That is mind-boggling how underused Nemi is, and he's literally just a scripted chase scene.
Yeah. Particularly in the lab section, you kind of forget about him until.
Yeah. Oh,
he
yeah.
comes back in.
Yeah. Well, we'll get to that. Right. So the fact that they take one of the most feared and revered horror gaming characters in the history of gaming and just turn him into a chase scene, that's criminal. To me, that's criminal. And maybe I'm just like over the top, like Resi fanboy, but dude, no, you did him wrong here. He looks amazing.
Yeah.
But you really did him wrong.
You're also just on an engine where everything looks amazing. So
True,
that's not
exactly.
an
That's just a general
Yeah.
True. But another thing as well that I think is just like really integrally wrong with the game, and the linearity of the game kind of bleeds into this point, is that there's no puzzles. There is no puzzling whatsoever. Resi 3 has some of my favorite puzzles in the series. One that comes to mind instantly is the water filtering thing that you got to do in the lab section, where you've got like those bars. There's like a red, yellow, or blue bar. You've got to like get them all to like kind of like line up so that it in this water treatment facility. Anyway, point is, there's a lot of the puzzles in Resi 3. There's none. There's none. There's literally one where you combine the 2 fucking vaccines, and then you just push buttons, bruh, until like you've got the bullshit meters level, and then that's it. Darn cool.
Which is also a puzzle at the end in the lab section in Resi 2.
Of RE2, yeah. It's not really a puzzle. It's one of those it's kind of like the puzzles in OG RE3 where you're in the gas station, you know, when you gotta like get that gas and shit, and you just gotta keep pushing like A, B, C, D randomly, and then it just fucking works. Random button pushing puzzles suck.
Yeah.
And that is one of them in the OG RE3, and that is a throwaway one. But in general, RE3 has way more puzzles, and some of them again being my favorites. None in Remake. So like, okay, we've got no puzzles, we're just running in straight lines. The key fucking, like, you know, figurehead, like the pyramid head of this game is rarely seen, and only in cutscenes and in more linear chase scenes. What the fuck?
Yeah.
Now there's no exploration. Boy, one of the big things that makes a Resident Evil game so fondly remembered is that if you take the Arclay Mansion, if you take the RPD, or any other like OG like horror zone, is that you have to get like intimately familiar with it. You're stuck in this place for a good portion, if not the majority of the game. So, and they're all mixed with like different fucking locked doors that require different keys and different puzzlings and stuff like that. So the environment itself, the map itself, is one big puzzle that you start to slowly uncover, being rewarded with new rooms, new items, new weapons and shit. and a sense of rewarding, engaging progress because you fucking had to memorize all these walls and rooms and hallways and shit. Once you get a key item, you're like, oh shit, and say it's like, I don't know,
like a spade key.
A spade key or whatever. You go, oh shit, I remember seeing a spade door here, and fucking here. Dude, okay, dude, you know what to do now, right? You get this sense of like, you're back in the game. You're being it's very engaging. Right, because the game requires you to be engaged, to remember, to pay attention in order to actually get through it, right? So you feel very locked into the game. There's none of that in Remake, because again, you just run in the straight line to the cutscene. The sewer section is a straight line.
2 hallways, one of which is
There's 2 hallways. One of them you can go to get the grenade launcher, which will just be given to you immediately after if you don't get it, which is what happened to us.
Yeah.
And one for the main battery for the key item, and then you're literally done with the sewer. You are done with the sewer in mere minutes.
Yeah, as long as you don't get insta killed, yeah, you can do it in like 2 minutes.
What the fuck? Yeah. What is engaging about that? What is like that's not memorable? Again, the entire game feels like one big blur of just run down the line.
Yeah.
Shoot the enemy, run down the line. Yeah. Fuck, dude. So crap. Same thing happens with the lab section.
2 hallways.
Dude, it's literally just 2 hallways. There's an upstairs and a downstairs. You get both halves of the vaccine in one half upstairs, one downstairs. Mix it, done. You're done with the lab scene. Ah! What are you talking about?
Yeah.
What are you?
Like, there's 3 entire sections of the lab in the Resi 2 remake, and you go down and do all the boss
Dude,
fights.
the lab section in my D&D campaign had more fucking game time
It did.
than RE3. That is insulting, dude.
Yeah.
It's insulting, bro. Alright, so let's talk about Nemi some more then. My favorite... Well, I guess this kind of goes into a broader topic. Cut content, bro. This is another big one that people aren't happy about, and I'm on that same boat, bro. Massive chunks of the game from the OG are cut out. So, namely speaking, the clock tower, they think it would have just been enough to fucking have
to
a boss fight that
A single
showcases the clock tower in the background. No, dude, we want to be inside it and unlocking all the rooms and, you know, going through and, like, seeing, like, the spider corridors that are in there and shit. No spiders.
No spiders! Yeah.
Oh, that reminds me, Drain Demios. Drain Demios was a big thing in RE3 with very, very, like, memorable enemy. Literally gets its 5 minutes.
Yeah.
And literally it's 5 minutes in the zone and then gone.
Yeah.
Just gone.
Yeah.
Like, nowhere to be featured in the game. What the fuck? Has a whole mechanic where you get parasites in you. And when that's introduced, and that cutscene where Jill gets infected, I was like, yo,
really cool.
this is dope. And I was like,
actually terrifying.
yeah, I was like, yo, basically in my mind when I was seeing all this was, oh, Drain Demioses are now in play. We're going to start seeing them crawl down. Because they were like, because of the beauty of camera angles and shit, in the OG RE3, there were times where you're like running, like down, like say for example, you're coming down like if you were to picture this as like the screen, you'd be coming into here, right, and the cameras that you're having to walk towards you, right, towards the camera, and then you start seeing a Drain Demios really close to camera, like crawl down the wall and shit, and grab you and stuff. You're like, oh shit, and freak you out. I was expecting to start seeing that in the world, like in the streets.
Yeah.
Nothing. You literally just blow up the nest and they're gone. And the redesign of the Drain Demioses kind of sucked. They were basically like massive lickers in 3. In this, they're like little insects.
Yeah.
Really fragile insects.
Yeah.
So yeah, it's like, oh, we mentioned Drain Demios, tick, on to the next thing. Every zone felt like a 5, like you were put into, like if I was to summarize RE3 Remake, it was that you're kind of like put into like a roller coaster ride, right? That's just fucking flat. And you're just kind of locked in, and you're just like, tick, 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 tick. Here's that zone. Remember that zone RE3? Okay, moving on. Tick, 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 tick. Here's that zone. Remember that? Okay, let's keep going. Tick, 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 tick. Like, whoa, dude, what the fuck? What about actually playing it? What about being in this? Yeah, what actually about exploring this and being in it and surviving this? No, moving on.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? It's like you just felt like you're just ticking shit off.
Yeah.
And halfway amidst that checklist, you are missing half the fucking game.
Yeah.
So the clock tower, the park, and the cemetery were some of my favorite zones in RE3, and that's all gone. That's all gone. So nothing to really say on that other than it's not there. What the fuck? Damn. And speaking of that, one of my favorite nemesis form is when Nemi. I think it depends what happens because here's another thing as well. RE3 OG, so much randomization. There was so much RNG. Like, if depending on how quickly you were in getting to certain points in the game, or what you did first, because there were certain things you could do in whatever order you wanted, right?
Yeah.
That would change the outcome of certain parts in the game. Like, for example, some dogs will come smashing out this window, or some crows will. Some zombies will come crawling out this window, or some fucking dogs will come smashing through the window. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Stuff like that. But there was scenes where you could like make in-game choices where, okay, you walk down the road and suddenly an in-game cutscene happens. You hear stars and boom. It turns in kind of like a D&D scenario where like Nemi's coming but he hasn't seen you yet. And then you literally have like two text options. What do? Do you like fight Nemi or do you try and hide from him? You know what I mean? And that would play out into different fucking set pieces. So you have to keep making decisions like, oh my god, should we stay hiding here or should we fucking move? I don't know, what if he sees us? Oh no, what if he finds us where we're hiding? I don't fucking know what to do!
Yeah.
And meanwhile, he was coming closer into shot, and like, if you didn't make a decision in time, the game would choose for you.
Yeah.
Love that shit, bro. Guess what? That's not in the game. There were multiple endings for RE3.
Oh, there's one.
One?
There's one ending.
One in RE3. Man. But yeah, so my favorite Nemi form was during one of those randomization scenarios. There's either you do enough damage to Nemi or Carlos jumps in and fires a rocket at Nemi and hurts him. Anyway, he goes walking into a big pile of fire, and then he comes in during the clock tower scene scenario where he's like ripped off all of his clothes and he's like buff as fuck. He's got all these tentacles coming out of him and he's basically done away with his weapons. He's just come to get you now. He just runs and just starts whipping the shit out of you. He's looking to face fuck you like crazy, dude. Yeah. That's when it feels like, oh shit, Nemi's on your ass, because he literally breaks down doors.
Oh, that's
he breaks
terrifying.
down doors and connects zones into like one big zone, and he's just chasing you through them all. Love that shit. He is constantly on your ass in that. Yeah, it's amazing, dude. That part. That's not in the game.
Nope.
Instead, they take him out and they turn him into generic like dog Birkin.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And I cannot stress this. This fight blows because it's so not Nemi.
Yeah, he's just running away from you the whole time.
He spends half of the fight running in circles around you, and just like looking at you.
And then they do it again.
Right, so that's very un-Nemi. You want Nemi to be constantly on your ass, like just fucking ripping and tearing, right? This
terrifying.
Yeah, this unstoppable beast, right? He's just running around in circles, like chasing his tail. What the fuck is that? Not only do they do away with the Nemi transformations, like, you know, progressive transformations like they do with Birkin, right? Where Birkin had all of his forms in RE2 Remake.
Yeah.
They scrap him in fucking RE3, man. So they just go from that and they just keep dog Birking up until the end. So when you're in the containment, in the lab section, you're fighting him again, guess what? It's the exact same fucking fight. He just keeps running in circles and now he's even hiding from you.
Yeah.
What the fuck is Nemi?
Yeah.
What is that about Nemi? Nothing about hiding and running away
Generic
says
boss
Nemi.
fight.
And in the cutscene where you're hanging on and talking to Nikolai, Nemi's just looking in the vat. He's just in the vat, just watching you two talk. What the fuck?
Yeah.
He'd be ripping both your dicks up, bro.
Yeah.
Both
I
your
was
dicks.
waiting for that
It was so not Nemi. It was really fucking weird.
Yeah.
The whole game just felt off tone.
Yeah.
So yeah. Oh my god, this is giving me a massive headache. But not only like is the fights un-Nemi, the fights are tired concepts we've done in video games in general. How many times have you shot the flamethrower guy?
Yeah.
Shoot the fucking gas can on his back and he blows up.
How many times have you shot the weak point on the
Yeah,
giant
how many
enemy?
times have you had to like fucking like chase an enemy and wait for your opportune moment or find the hiding enemy? Done it so many times, dude. Now it doesn't even get me to like the final fucking enemy fight, which we will get to that. Jesus Christ, bro. But yeah. Actually, fuck it, let's just do it. Yeah, the final boss fight is Better Chaos. So, what's your least favorite boss fight in Dark Souls? Most people will say Better Chaos. Guess what Nemi turns into? Yeah, I don't know. Again, the big, massive static enemy that just goes sweep, sweep, and slam attack. How many times have we done that in games?
Literally, we did it like a week earlier.
We literally did it in Doom Eternal, bro.
Yeah.
Yeah, we literally just did it in Fear 3 last night.
Yeah, we did. Literally, last night.
It's such a fucking, like, lazy concept for final... Do not make your final boss massive and suddenly think that means epic.
Big does not mean scary.
Yeah, big does not mean epic.
I find that, like, boss fights like Virgil and stuff, those are terrifying.
Yes, God, I would have loved if we got to fight, like, Nemi in his fast fucking whipping and just fucking beating the shit out. That would have been great.
That would have made you use the dodge.
That would have been so fucking cool, dude.
Yeah.
God. The set piece scenarios you could come up with where you literally have to fist fight Nemi would be amazing.
Yeah.
But no, instead we get Better Chaos, shoot the weak points for massive damage, and that's the end.
Yeah. Yeah.
I can't believe that. I cannot believe that.
It's even more infuriating as the difficulty goes up.
So yeah, I mean, yeah. So I don't know. The whole journey, if you were to like judge Resi 3 Remake as a product, and just as a work of art to fans who enjoy said, you know, IP, the franchise. It just reeks of cut corners, cut budget to the point where they're using live action cutscenes in the beginning.
Ew, yeah.
Yuck. Fucking. It sucked. I ended up fucking agreeing with the fucking negative reviews on it. Yeah. The intro's hype, but then it suddenly dies, and it's not what Resi 3 is. It's not what it deserves, and it is a step backwards from 2. I end up agreeing with them. And I didn't want to, dude. And I still don't want to this day.
But it is what it is. It's the product that they put out, and so this is what we just have to judge it off of.
Exactly. So they think that by packaging it with Resistance, that together 2 halves of a crappy game will make one good game. No, dude.
You played Resistance.
I played Resistance last night, and
it's
whatever, dude. I don't really care.
Yeah.
it's a throwaway thing, to be honest.
There were more trophies in Resistance than in the original game, which is really infuriating as well.
Yeah.
Because there's not much you can do in the original game.
Yeah, they're just in general. This whole thing just kind of feels like it was made by people that didn't understand Resident Evil. It was made by people that just knew the fan references to throw in there in order to garner cheap applaud.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, oh, you want stars? I'll give you stars. Haha. This is Resi 3. You know? Yeah, it's kind of like the equivalent of just randomly slapping Pyramid Head into a Silent Hill game and suddenly it's a good Silent Hill game because it's got Pyramid Head in it. Yeah. I do feel like a lot of Resi 3 remakes praise is coming off of that. Like, but it's got Nemi! Yeah. It's got Nemi in it! You know, so... And I'm not trying to dissuade anyone who genuinely likes this game. If you love it, dude, fucking tops. Just for me, personally, bro, Nemi deserved way better than this. This felt like... It was a project just offhandedly given to a minor team in Capcom, while the main team focused on RE2. Most of the dev time, most of the budget, most of like the talent worked on Resi 2, and that shows, dude. Resi 3 is like a sloppy seconds kind of follow-up game, and Resi 3 does not deserve that treatment, dude.
Things should go better as you start to progress.
Exactly. Resi 3 deserves to get the same treatment 2 did, and I would have been more than happy to wait another year or two because there are moments in RE3 Remake that make me go, God damn it, this could have been such a good game. Fuck, this could have been awesome, bro. The skeleton's there because they're using the basis of RE2 Remake. So you've kind of got the foundation of a good game already there without even trying. Fuck, but it does feel like a rough beta of 2. Yeah. It really does. And what the fuck?
Yeah.
Nemi gets that?
Yeah.
So, yeah, it just feels unpolished, rushed, And again, a lack of passion. The game feels extremely hollow. Again, you're just being pushed through sections. That it all just feels like one meshed together blur. And by the end of it, you're just kind of like, huh.
Sometimes gameplay is just go forward.
Yeah, literally that. I mean, there are
Yeah.
there are random scenarios in the game, like just where the game is just literally telling you to just push forward.
Yeah.
And you're just watching Jill just crawl for like 20 seconds. And you're like...
And then skip pause.
Yeah, skip pause, bro. Like, who cares? What is that? What is that, dude? Oh my god. But, yeah, I honestly don't think in a month's time people are going to be talking about Resi 3. I don't think people are going to be playing Resi 3 in a month's time. And all the people that are heralding it as a masterpiece,
No.
I do think that's going to start dying off soon in comparison to how RE2 was getting treated. But it's crazy, man. This kind of I was trying to think of like how, like, what is the Resident Evil DNA, right? So if I was like ask you, oh, what do you think a sequel for Devil May Cry would look like, or a fucking Uncharted game, or any game that has been consistent throughout its lifespan? What's that going to look like? You already have a good idea as to what it is. Alright then, what's Resi 8 going to look like? You don't know.
No idea.
You have no fucking idea. You have no idea what perspective it's in. You have no idea, like, whether it's going to be very action orientated or, you know, horror orientated. Like, is it co-op? Is it single player? You have no fucking idea what any RE game is going to be. And to me, that kind of sucks, man. Because, like, I'm a fan of Resident Evil because of the things that make a game Resident Evil.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? I don't know, and like DMC, you know, like the reboot of Devil May Cry.
Yeah.
That got shit on so hard for being slightly different.
It's not even that different.
No,
Like,
but because Dante has like black hair and shit like that,
Yeah.
people were losing their fucking minds,
Yeah.
right? But Resi 3 Remake has got so much cut content, such a departure from what makes an RE game RE game. No puzzles, no exploration, basically no horror, really. The tension really isn't there.
No,
dude.
there is no tension.
But yet, dude, it's a masterpiece!
Yeah.
And it's like, something's going on here, and what the fuck?
I find that Capcom and the Resident Evil franchise especially likes to bank on the fact that people have those nostalgia points. So people are going to buy it just because it's a Resident Evil game.
What?
And so then they just like do all this random half-ass bullshit.
Yeah, well, I think Capcom treats the Resident Evil IP as like, this is going to be our IP that we use to test new ideas, because it's more financially risky to make a new IP because, one, no one's ever heard of IP, so there's no fan base.
Yeah.
Right? So we don't know whether it's going to sell.
Mm-hmm.
But if we attach that new idea onto Resident Evil, one of our best-selling franchises of all time, got tons of fans, well known, it's going to make big press instantly, and we know it's going to sell to some degree, whether or not it's good or bad.
Yeah.
That kind of feels like what Resident Evil is, dude. And it's
That's what it's
such
been for
a
years.
fucking shame.
Yeah.
Because you get, like, Resident Evil 3 is like, what? Like 20 years old or something like that, dude? It's like, I don't know, it's old, bro.
Damn, yeah.
It's old, man. And people have been wanting an RE3 remake ever since Remake came out. Everyone's been going, dude, can you imagine what Resi 2 and 3 would look like if they got a remake as well? And now it finally happened, so of course there's all this hype, and of course there's all this massive expectation. And you cut fucking corners, dude? You've got one opportunity to remake a game, to take one of the most revered, feared, and beloved characters in horror gaming. And this is your opportunity to use modern gaming tech to fucking go wild with it, dude. Full rip and tear with Nemi. Fucking just all this amazing shit.
And you give it to a side team.
And you give it to a side team that cuts half the fucking game and gives you a mild, lukewarm experience. The bang! Nemi doesn't deserve that, dude. And shame on you, Capcom, for thinking that's okay. Just throw Resistance in with it, dude. You're getting the full product. What the fuck?
Resistance is its own fucking can of worms.
Man alive, dude. And now they're talking about that exact same team want to remake 4.
No. I won't play it. Like, it's just not gonna happen. Because I I don't
don't
see them
know.
doing anything decent.
Honestly, before RE3 Remake,
I was excited.
I was excited for, yeah, dude, Remake 4. Could you imagine 4 on the RE engine and like the ragdoll physics and all the defacing and dismemberment and all that graphic detail? Oh my god, and being able to like go through like the fucking Los Illuminados castle and shit. Yo, imagine what the regenerators would look like. Oh my fucking god. But now, dude, kinda count me out.
Yeah.
Kinda count me out, man. Fuck, dude.
I don't trust them to not just completely reuse like other villains like they did with the Pale Heads. Like just cut out their generators entirely because they're like, well, fuck it, we've got our own. We don't want to have to make that shit.
Just a common trend I seem to find with Capcom is, and I'm gonna wrap this up now because my head is splitting, is that Capcom will keep using these new ideas for games. For RE games until they hit gold. Change, RE4. Oh, we hit gold, it got suddenly very popular. Okay, let's keep trying to recapture what made 4 amazing with 5, with 6, with Revelations, and everyone's like, stop! This isn't Resident Evil. Stop trying to recapture lightning in a bottle. Stop it. And they go, maybe we should listen to the fans. Okay, we're gonna go back to old school ways, bro. We're gonna remake RE2 and it's gonna be awesome. Okay, cool. It's a hit again. Cool. Now let's keep trying to recapture RE2. No! Stop it! That feels like what they did with 3. 3 is just a poor man's 2, dude. And are you gonna try and do the same thing with 4 now? Fuck!
Yeah.
Like they'll listen and then they'll try and recapture lightning again by reusing the same bullshit, but hoping that they can rely on like, oh, a cabin scene, or a fucking, you know, like shoot the window. You know, remember this in RE4, guys? Like, yeah, like here's the new fucking regenerator enemy, lol.
Yeah.
Pale heads. Remember Crimson Heads? Now we got pale heads. Like, stop it. So, and then they'll keep doing that for 3 more titles until they listen again, hit gold, and rinse and repeat.
Yeah.
And it sucks, man. It's so exhausting being an RE fan, bro. Yikes. And I hate that this is my take on it, guys. I genuinely do. I really wanted to love RE3, but I would just be lying to myself if I was pretending to not see all the glaring cut corners, the lack of passion, the lack of creativity and innovation, and just wanting to just bank on nostalgia and old references and shit. And it's just. And now, for me personally, RE is in a bit of a question mark thing again, where it's like, where is this going to go now? Because RE3 has shipped over 2 million units, so technically it's a success. So if we're going to go off the numbers, well, great. We want more of that, I guess. I fucking don't. Fuck no. I'm still waiting for the day we go back to camera angles, bro. I'm still waiting for that day, man. I don't think it's happening,
I don't think it'll ever happen.
But don't get me wrong, I loved RE7. RE7 is is in some ways a massive departure from RE.
Yeah.
But it still felt like an RE game to me, and I loved being able to play in VR, dude. One of the best gaming experiences I ever had, and all of the continuous support it got for a year straight, with all the DLC, and finishing on a high with the end of Zoe when you're playing as Jack Baker.
Yeah.
Bro.
It was good.
Bro.
And then I think they just didn't make the sales that they wanted, and so now they're just.
I don't know, dude. The thing is, you never really. Again, you're on this roller coaster.
Yeah.
You're ups and downs, and right now, for me personally, this is a big down.
Yeah.
Because RE3 has been a big part of my life since I was a kid.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And to be able to relive this and kind of be able to re-experience it in a new light, this was just far from even meeting the standard. Even far from being like okay. It's not okay. It's less than that. I mean, again, like you said, reuse content of like, I mean, even like when we go into like when Jill meets Kendo, it's pretty much just the same fucking cutscene.
They just switch
it. It starts the same way. It ends the same way. Him walking through the fucking door. It's just reeks.
Lazy.
It reeks of just fucking. Fuck it. Just slap that on.
Yeah.
When you could have like, with a team that really gave a fuck and wanted to give the most complete, fucking, and like expanded upon experience of RE3, dude, it could have been amazing. We could have got some more backstory with Jill and with Kenda. We could have seen like how his daughter got infected or whatever the fuck. Jill trying to help him, maybe. That would have been a cool little expansion on the story. That would have been great. I would have been engaged in that.
Yeah.
Trying to save his daughter, but alas, it doesn't work because you know what happens in 2.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Fuck. Damn it, son. Fucking damn it. So many... Again, this remake was a golden opportunity to just really hammer it home and keep this fucking hot streak of Capcom going. Because, like... Devil May Cry 5, yo. Monster Hunter World, yo. Fucking Resident Evil 2 Remake, yo. Capcom's been fucking killing it. And now, you're letting it slip again. No, don't do that, man. And that's it now. Your opportunity's gone.
Yeah.
Because what, you're going to do RE3 Remake 2?
Yeah, no.
You know what I mean? Like, it's over now. That's the RE3 Remake now. Fuck, guys. What made you think it was okay to half-ass this?
And just stopping Nimmy in another Resident Evil game is equally as lazy. So
what made you think it was okay to just fucking half-ass RE3, dude? People say Resi, they go Nemesis. People say Silent Hill, they go Pyramid Head. Yeah. What the fuck, dude?
Yeah.
But it is what it is, guys. Unfortunately, that's my take. And I mean, I'm wishing for the best of RE8. I know that there's a lot of leaks and stuff right now, and that it's going to be in the same vein of RE7. You're playing as Ethan again, which makes me want to fucking skin my cock.
Yeah.
Apparently, RE7, Chris is in it again. Fucking fist my shit. And it's going to be in a village in Europe, and there's going to... I've literally read that it starts just like RE4, but you're fighting beast men, and there's like an hallucination aspect, because I think Ethan's infected, and the enemies are apparently super bullet spongy, and at one point he runs into a building in the village, has to barricade it, and he's being swamped by them. He gets a shotgun, he's trying to fill them up, but it's not doing anything, and then suddenly a bell chimes, and they all leave. Where did everyone go? Bango.
Bango.
Goodbye. Fuck, I need some fucking aspirin, bro.
Aww.